Hey everyone, today I've got your Playing with Fire movie review. A group of firefighters are tasked at taking care of a couple of kids, not realizing it's much harder than putting out fires. Am I right? So, as far as the story goes, Andy Fickman directs this movie, and when I first saw the trailer, I knew that this Nickelodeon flick was not going to be that great. I had been holding off for pretty much this whole month to see it until now, and probably for good reason, because from the start of this movie I had a feeling it was going to go downhill with all of these cliched scenes to unfunny moments where there were breaks where it was like meant to be like, oh, the audience is supposed to laugh at this. I was not laughing at all watching this movie. When you have these firemen and kids all under one roof, it looked like a carbon copy of the movie The Pacifier starring Vin Diesel, and I at least liked that movie for what it was, and now I feel like this movie is just trying to force jokes in places where, you know, they don't need to be there, among other things that were going on that just felt so completely outlandish. I mean, what the trailer showed, I just knew that this movie just looked so dumb. So there was just absolutely no way that I was going to possibly get through seeing this movie in its entirety, but I did. I might have fallen asleep like once or twice watching it, but then I ended up just seeing it until the end credits, which were kind of funny, to be honest. As far as the casting goes, you've got John Cena, who, you know, I tend to think that in a movie like this, I couldn't possibly think it would fit his personality, and it did kind of work for him in a way. And I was impressed with, you know, what he had to deal with, but like sometimes it was just so cringy to watch at times, but he pulled through it alongside Keegan-Michael Key, who I also enjoy watching. So I know he can definitely, you know, crack some jokes and have a laugh or two. John Leguizamo as well. But then when it came to the child actors, I mean, of course, I didn't realize this at first, but apparently Brianna Hildebrand, who was Negasonic Teenage Warhead in Deadpool, I literally couldn't believe that she chose to be in a movie like this, but she was the oldest of the kids that were in this movie, and at least she didn't annoy me as much as maybe some of those other child actors did, like Christian Convery and even Finley Rose Slater. I mean, I was just like, this was the best that they could come up with. I was not impressed with the things that they were doing in this movie. The things that I liked about this movie, which is very little, to be honest, and there are a few lighthearted moments that I was not expecting to see, because the trailer literally didn't reveal any of that happening in the movie. So I guess it was a nice surprise, but I just wished that this movie didn't end up looking like so dumb like it did, and then leave out something like this, and then it's either you want to get spoiled beforehand, but for a movie like this, I kind of wish that I was spoiled just a little bit to know that something that was in this movie was actually going to be more than meets the eye. So this is a Bad Love Review contender, thanks to my good pal Jerome Latimer, because when the jokes are all around ridiculous, I just feel like at times they became repetitive, and at times I was just getting annoyed and bored with what I was seeing, and it didn't really give me much hope that this movie was going to go in a more positive direction than what it sort of tried to do by the end of the movie. So the things that I didn't like about this movie was that it was crass. Now, I could have a lot of people disagree with me on, you know, what they consider funny or not, but literally I just felt like this movie was just completely cringeworthy to watch. When I saw the scenes in this movie that were shown in the trailers, I was like, do I really have to relive this yet again? And I did, especially seeing those annoying characters pop up left and right, and along with the bad writing, I'm just like, this is why they all just spoke the way they did, and they were in these dumb and unfunny situations, and these kids were having to do all of this stuff with these adults, and they just look like a bunch of bumbling idiots. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, it just blew my mind how horrible this movie was, and I'm never going to see it again after this. So overall, I would say I was definitely not impressed watching this movie, but I definitely expected it to be as bad as it was when I watched it. So I would not recommend seeing this movie whatsoever, but if you want to torture yourself and waste your time, go ahead, be my guest. So I would give this 1 heart on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Playing with Fire, and as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Trail Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.